Did you know that we received almost 10 centimeters of rain in a few hours a few weeks ago in Toronto? So let's see if we can talk about that together. So this is from an article from CBC in Canada, and they were just talking. So that happened on July 16th when we received, I think it was 96.4 millimeters of water. So here is the Don Valley. There's a river going through the city, and there's a depression here in the highway's basement. There's a lot of places where there were a lot of water. So we're going to look at a few pictures today from where I sit. I went for a few walks around my neighborhood, and you'll see how much water we could have seen. So here, just to help a little bit, there were some great graphs here. So here we had on the 16th, we had 15 millimeters from 10, and we have up to 43.7 millimeter at noon. So here it all happened very, very quickly. What is interesting though is that I noticed that over 3 days, we had a lot of rain. So I know that on the 14th, from which I'm going to show you a quick example of the rain we got, there was a lot of rain on the 14th, followed by another rainstorm on the 15th, and then a third one on the 16th. If we had not had the previous ones, I don't think we would have had this much issues here with our infrastructure. So here I like that they had the July 16 land on the record book, because the most rain they received in Toronto was on July 8, 2013, which was 126 millimeters. So here we are almost at 10 on July 16th. So, but keeping in mind that we've had off, and this is in the same day. July seems to be the most, the month with the most rain we've had on record for many, many years. Given, as I mentioned, we've had quite a few rainstorms as we went along. So let's see if I can show you a few examples that I have for you. So this one, perfect. Give me a second. There we go. I'm gonna move it this way so that we can have a look together, and that will bring us to the next segment. So present, Windows. Very nice. Perfect. I'm gonna get this perfect. Let's see if I can bring it this way. Okay. So here you could see, so this happened on the 14th. So we had rain like this for three days. So big snowstorm happened very quickly and then stopped. So I took this video because it was interesting. There was so much water coming out, and this was just like for about an hour or two. You could see curtains of rain coming down. And as you could see, often in July, we have dry time and the grass is yellow. This year, everything is green. You could see here curtains of rain coming down here. So that happened for about an hour or so on the 14th. We're about 40 kilometers from Toronto. So big clouds coming up indeed. So if you are thinking of those, let's see if I can show you other examples. So let's see. I'm going to stop this. We have to present. Let's see if I can get there you go. I'm going to share this Windows. Thank you for your patience on this. It's always interesting. Okay, so this is a creek that is close to my place. So it's, as I say, about 40 kilometers from Toronto. And so you could see here we have this creek runs year round. So this one here was in January 15th, 2024, so a few months ago. And as you can see, this is more or less how much water runs year round. So here it was cold, but you can see the water that is running. So look at how this tree is right here. And we have a trail right there. So where I live, there's a lot of little valleys that they kept as part of the urban planning, so that if there are extra water, it is going through those and not going into housing. Perfect. So this was my rain. So there you go. So after that, this is the little valley. We ended up with so much water that filled out almost all the valley that we had. So here we have the creek that I showed you earlier. See, this is the tree that was right there. So there's probably 40 centimeters more water coming through. As you can see, lots of water. And it was one of the first time I had seen so much water here. And we have the trail that is right there. So here's the bridge I was in. We have the tree. It's amazing because you could see how the water is murky. So the water is always murky. But interestingly enough, since those rain, you'll see later on, we can see the water is not murky. We can see the bottom very nicely. So here we have another example of how much water was running. I have a little video here with how much, I thought it was a bit longer, but it's all good. You can see the water with the tree right here. Another example. I know it's not a big creek, but there was at least 30 centimeter more water than usual. So here is what we had. So this one here was on the 23rd, so about a week later. So you could see, we can see to the bottom because all the silt, all the clay that was in the water going all the way further upstream, they were all carried down. So we were nice and we have clear water. And I took a little video because we could see some fish. I know there was one that was right here. So it's always nice to see some little fish. We call them many sometimes. And it's beautiful because you could see that it's a stream that is healthy. As long as we have microorganisms, including little minis, it's always good. So here we have a comment, and it goes lovely. Rework glacial clay and silt for agriculture. That's correct. And when we have precipitation, when everything works well, precipitation goes, and some of the clay and silt may go down from the surface down, bringing nutrients for the plants. Keeping in mind that if you have too much of these precipitations, or if you take millions of years, then you end up by leaching the soil, and it's not as nice either. So here we can see some minis here. I don't know if I can make it bigger. I don't think so. So it was fun. Always nice to see and observe what is happening. So here you could see a week after, this is the tree. So the water was about up here. Let's see. Oh, there you go. So here we have the tree. The water was about this height here. You could see here how the edge here was on the water, and you could see how nice the water here is. So it was nice to see how things are changing in the environment. Very nice. Now, a couple days ago, I went for another walk because I had a goal to try as many trails as I could in my area. And this was a little valley. So it was some roads, and it is a valley that is probably about 1 kilometer away from where I was. And you'll see there's a little creek there. But the issue there was so much water that the drainage for this little valley got plugged. And then as I was walking, look at how much water that was going up. So you could see on the leaves, you could see the dirt that is right there. So what happened is that you have water that went all the way up this way. You're going to say, well, that doesn't seem too much, but you'll see with so here's another example. We have dirty water all the way to about here. So here, that was just beside me on one side. And then I turned on the other side, and look at this. It was higher than me right here. So here that means, so that was another part where so the trail was going a bit lower. So here I'm 6 feet tall, so 1 meter 82. So you had about 2 meters of water in that area. I know it was localized, but just sharing with you how water can accumulate quickly if there's a big issue. So you could see they've been cleaning in the last few weeks, putting new sand and also some powdered and rocks on the trails to make it work. But look how much dirty water there was in that time. Always nice to see. So that's just past this area. You could see water was all the way to about this height right here. See if I go, you could see how the leaves are dirty in that area. It's always nice to see and observe our area. And if you see, this is now the creek. So the creek is down here, and you have the dirt that was down up here. So I would say it was more than 2 meters of increase in that valley. And it was a small place, and with the volume increased quickly. But it's just to show you, if you are in a city and you have kilometer square of surface area with pavement, the water has to go somewhere. The drainage has to go somewhere. So you have to be careful. So we have another comment here. Compared to Namibia, nice to see that we have people from out of town. That looks like a rainforest. You know what? We have an amazing summer so far. What's interesting is that because we've got a lot of rain almost every several days, often it's very much drier in July. We've got lush areas. So here the trees that we have, so you have maple trees. So in Canada, if you look at so you have the maple leaf right here. So this is on our flag. So in this environment, a lot of maple trees. We have also oak trees. And here it's in the valley, so it's a bit damp all the time. But it's a beautiful place to be. Always nice to have that. Is it a rainforest? Not quite. Does it feel like it? Yes, it does. Because when we have sometimes in early July, the very hot and damp and humid environment, when sometimes it's 30, 35 degrees, or it feels like 40, it does feel like it's a rainforest. In Canada, it's great because we have all of the seasons, including like tropical type weather, but it's not year long. It's for a few days to a few weeks, all the way. If I go a bit further all the way to the beginning, where we have in the winter, where it's under zero for, I don't know, several months here. And that's why the creeks are freezing. So we have, it's a big difference on what we get, and it's always exciting. I do love all the seasons. That's why I take pictures from around the year. On this, I'm going to put here a link to a video where we'll be able to see it, and I'll see you there.